Bienvenidos todos al servicio dominical de los Unitarios Universalistas de San Miguel de Allende. Welcome everyone to the Sunday morning service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende. Estamos contentos de estar juntos. We are glad to be together. Este es un lugar donde podemos traer todo nuestro ser y ser aceptados tal como somos con amor y amistad. This is a place where we can bring our whole selves and be accepted as we are with love and friendship. Me llamo Katy Canepa y voy a servir como líder de servicio esta mañana. My name is Katy Canepa, and I'll be our service leader this morning. And I, along with Susan McDonald, are co-chairs of the Sunday Service Committee. After the service, those on Zoom are invited to stay connected and visit with others in the main room for discussion. And those who are with us at the Aldea can join us for coffee and cookies. Después del servicio vamos a ofrecer café y galletas. Si tenemos visitantes aquí hoy, podría ponerse de pie para que podamos ver quién es y saludarlo personalmente después del servicio. If we have any visitors here today, would you please stand if you're comfortable doing so that we can see who you are and personally greet you and invite you to coffee hour after the service? Who's here? Wow. Great. Thank you, and if we have any visitors on Zoom, please type in your name and where you're from in the chat box so others can greet you personally later. Now, consulte nuestro sitio web para ver servicios anteriores e información sobre eventos y cómo convertirse en miembro. Please check our website, UUFSMA.org, to see our previous recorded services and information on events and how to become a member. And thank you so much for being here.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Tom Rosiello, minister of this fellowship, and it's wonderful to be with you again this morning. And it's a joy and an honor for me to welcome back to our fellowship my colleague and good friend, the Reverend Ned Wight, and especially to do so on this very important Sunday where we formally dedicate, when we officially launch our Social Justice Foundation. Ned is the perfect minister to do this. He's the immediate past chair of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. Many of you are familiar with their work, but for those who are not, this wonderful Unitarian Universalist organization partners with grassroots organizations in the U.S. and all over the world, championing human rights and helping to bring about systemic long-term change. Certainly a mission not unlike that of the foundation that we create today. Also, Ned knows a bit about grants and administering social justice funds, as he served as the executive director of the Unitarian Universalist Veatch Program, which is part of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at Shelter Rock in Long Island, New York. And it's a wonderful example of a UU congregation that created a social justice fund to give grants. Ned used to be a very popular UU minister with all sorts of people, untold numbers of people would be his friends when he used to give away $12 to $13 million a year. But some of us still love him, even if he no longer has the keys to the bank. Of course, I'm joking. Ned is simply a person with a wealth of knowledge about successfully and creatively doing the work of social justice in the UU world. I want to publicly thank him for sharing that knowledge with our foundation governors this week and helping our congregation embark on this new chapter of social justice. Ned has been an advisor to us and is an ambassador for us. Ned, will you join me in the pulpit here, and together let us welcome this new day in the life of the fellowship.
I don't know, this may be pretty high risk to join up here. Our opening words. From the east comes the sun, bringing a new and unspoiled day.
It has already circled the earth and looked upon distant lands and faraway peoples.
It has passed over mountain ranges and the waters of the seven seas.
It has shone upon laborers in the fields, into the windows of homes and shops and factories.
It has beheld proud cities with gleaming towers.
And also the hovels of the poor.
It has been witness to both good and evil, the works of honest men and women, and the conspiracy of knaves.
It has seen marching armies, bomb-blasted villages, and the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
Now, unsullied from its tireless journey, it comes to us, messengers of the morning.
Harbinger of a new day. And it's with this light of the new day that we ignite our chalice flame this morning. I invite you to rise and border your spirit to welcome this new day in song. It's hymn number 1000 in the supplement. Morning has come, but the words will appear on the screen, and also today they are printed in your order of service.
I invite you to remain standing, to join together in reciting this fellowship's unique covenant. This is our promise of how we aspire to be in relation to each other and the larger world. I will lead us first in English, and then Sofia Cervantes will lead us in Spanish. We respect the interdependent web of life and work for a just and peaceful world. We encourage the search for truth and meaning, strive for compassion in our relationships, and seek values that will benefit our lives and the lives of others. This is our covenant.
Respetamos todos los estilos de vida dentro de su red interdependiente y trabajamos por un mundo justo y pacífico. Alentamos la búsqueda de la verdad y la comprensión total. Nos esforzamos por mantener compasión en nuestras relaciones y buscamos valores que beneficien nuestras vidas y las vidas de los demás. Este es nuestro convenio.
Side for members to share significant joys, sorrows, and concerns with their community. If you have a joy, sorrow, or concern that you'd like shared in a future service, you may email it to me, or you can write it on a card as you enter the service, as several folks did today. If you are on Zoom with us today, you may type them, any joy, sorrow, or concern, into the chat now. We light our first candle, holding Shoshana Levinson and Chris Crossgrove in our thoughts and prayers. They're active members of this congregation participating via Zoom from Zoom, Connecticut. Shoshana is starting another round of chemo, and Chris just had successful back surgery and is recovering. So let us send our thoughts and prayers to both of them. Please send out healing thoughts and prayers to Pat Laird, who is recovering well after a double mastectomy last Wednesday. To light a candle for Ted Englander and Lauren Orsonio. Ted continues in treatment and therapy at home after a brain swelling incident, and we send them our best wishes, both of them. Let's light a candle in memory of Judy Rosenthal. Judy's friends will lead a celebration of her life tomorrow at 2 p.m. here at the Aldea. And my great helper in last week's service and friend Sebastian, who you all know, broke his arm this week. So we offer him bone healing best wishes. Clarissa would like to light a candle with pride and joy that her eldest son has achieved 8 months of being clean and sober. Life is good. Jim Harper would like us to light a candle. He writes, in the near hurricane-force storm that lashed Sacramento, California, a 40-year-old walnut tree snapped off and crashed through my stepdaughter's house, nearly demolishing it. My joy is that she was in a room that was the least damaged and was unharmed. Also, she had good homeowners insurance. And it was so wonderful to see Donna Sherbrooks walk in this morning, and she asked us to let you know that she's so happy to be back in our UU community here in San Miguel, to stay, and excited to see so many wonderful friends. Thank you, she says, for all your support. Our thoughts, our prayers, our concerns are not limited to just our community. As we've done for some time now, we light a candle for those who've suffered, lost their lives, been displaced, been injured by the war in Ukraine. And we light another candle for all those who have similarly suffered as a result of the horrible war that continues in the Middle East. Lastly, we light first a candle for all the joys, sorrows, and concerns held deep in our hearts, but which remain unspoken. And I'm just going to look because something just flicked on chat, so maybe I missed one. I don't see one. Okay. to all those unspoken joys, sorrows, and concerns. And I'd like to light two final candles today for all of life's blessings that we too often simply take for granted. You know, it was the 13th century theologian and philosopher Meister Eckhart who said that if the only prayer we ever spoke were the words, "thank you," that would be enough. So I invite you now to join in singing a prayer of gratitude, acknowledging the blessings of this day, this community, this precious planet we call home, in Spanish. Gracias por el amor. You can remain seated, and the words will appear on the screen, and they're also printed in your order of service. Perhaps singing that beautiful hymn brought to mind something for which you're profoundly grateful this morning: a person, an opportunity, a community. Perhaps there's a hope or a concern that's heavy in your thoughts this morning. If you would like to silently light a candle in witness of that thought or prayer, you may come forward and do so now as we're guided forward with beautiful music. In last week's service, you participated in welcoming new members and witnessing how we are growing in numbers, increasingly becoming a more diverse, multicultural, beloved community. We're committed to serving our members, welcoming new members, being a voice of liberal religion in this community. We do it through our ministry, our services, and with the help of our staff and unbelievably committed volunteers. It's important work that touches many lives. But it's not the only important work of this fellowship. We have not forgotten our commitment to social justice, and particularly helping the many wonderful local programs that address the needs of the greater community. In fact, more than just not forgetting them, we, through a careful discernment process, have sought to find ways that our base of support for this work can be expanded, so we can do even more than we could do with just the limited resources available from our members. To that end, over the past many months, a very committed group of volunteers came together and laid the plans for the UUFSMA Social Justice Foundation. It's an important part of this fellowship. We would not really be UUs without a commitment to social justice, and we would not be UUs without a commitment to creating, sustaining, and growing beloved community. As our president put it last week, it's not only that we can do both, minister to the community and reach out to the many needs of the greater community. With this new structure, we can do both better. It's not a small group, not even our board, that created this foundation. It's all of us. We did it with a very important series of votes in the past years, and now we do it in a formal way with spoken words. So please open your order of service to the words of dedication. They will also appear on the screen. Please join in reading them now. We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende, as part of our continuing commitment to care for our neighbors in need and advance justice in our community, by our vote have created the UUFSMA Social Justice Foundation. Today, we officially and wholeheartedly dedicate this foundation to the work of social justice by building bridges, raising funds, giving grants, and partnering for justice with programs in our community. The foundation will also reach out to partner with congregations, individuals, and granting agencies in the U.S., Canada, and beyond to help us expand our work.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, UU Fellowship. My name is Paula Peace. I am very fortunate to be a part of this new foundation. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a very important group of people, our founding donors. In between the time that the fellowship awarded their last budget gift to the new Aspiring Social Justice Foundation, and today, when we begin asking for your gifts of support, we did not want to have no money. We wanted to be ready to support our NGOs with any concerns, crises, emergencies, new creative programs that they came up with before our new funds were flowing. So we had the idea to put together founding donors. So the work of this foundation has begun thanks to the generosity of our founding donors. These individuals were the first to embrace the vision and the possibility of how a social justice foundation could expand our reach and improve our work for justice in this community. And they responded with generous gifts to the foundation. These early gifts were very important during the tricky transition time between funding from the fellowship and today's launch of a separate campaign. In pursuing those early gifts, I was fortunate to find the perfect partner for the ask in the articulate and passionate Michael Murphy. Michael and I together decided to approach each potential donor. But we needed one beloved social justice leader to give us an important first blessing. So we went to Betsy Davies. For the very few of you who may not yet know Ms. Betsy Davies, she is one of the earliest members of our UU Fellowship and is renowned for her critical, numerous, long-term contributions to a dozen NGOs here in San Miguel. For instance, Betsy was one of the 5 founders of Jóvenes Adelante, and a scholarship fund has been established in her honor. She started as a tour guide for Patronato Pro Niños, then served as head of the organization for more than 20 years. She served for years on our UU Social Action Committee, where she was the steward liaison with Niños con Autismo and the EEE School for the Deaf, among others. Betsy was named Rotary Citizen of the Year in 1991, a long time ago. Altruism was built into her life since college days at Ohio State, where Betsy, like her mom before, was named into the Women's Honor Board. She learned to serve at an early age, and today, at the age of 97 and a half, continues her active life of service. So today, we proudly announce that we did receive that important vote of confidence from Betsy and her partner, Jim Harper, along with a generous check. Betsy's leadership was just the inspiring lead gift which we needed. We are proud to have Betsy as a cherished member of our UUFSMA. And today we are proud to recognize her by naming the Foundation's Founding Donors Project in her honor. Betsy, would you like to share a few words?
Thank you all. Wow, that makes me feel so good. Thank you, Paula, for bringing the Social Justice Foundation to life today. And I thank you and Michael Murphy for your devoted efforts to recruit others to be founding donors. I'm sure our grantee NGOs are thanking you as well. I especially want to thank the donors that you'll see listed. They believed in the cause, as I do. I served on the Social Justice Committee for some 10 years, and I was a steward for 5 of those NGOs, which serve the Mexican communities, both rural and in the city. I think of our well-vetted grant programs as our effort to help NGOs do the work of raising the ships for the Mexicans, young and old. Today, I am putting our check in the offering plate made out to our UUFSMA Social Justice Foundation. There will be more Sundays this month where the offerings on the plate will be added to the foundation fund. Anytime during the year you can do this too, even like for instance, if you should win the lottery or receive a large inheritance from an unknown cousin, or even if your team wins today. Anytime during the year you can make a donation and it's truly a gift for good. And I thank all of you who have been working in that and believe in it.
I'd like to introduce Michael Murphy. Michael, if you can start making your way up, please, sir, as my dedicated partner during the Founding Donors Project, and salute him for the hours of personal visits. And a special thanks and apologies to his wife, Kathy. Today, Michael and I would like to introduce our founding donors and recognize them for their early support. As we call your names, please come forward and line up across the front. And let's hold our applause until the very end when everyone is gathered, and then we'll recognize them mightily.
You gonna name them?
We'll call them out as we go. You want to take that, Mike? Okay, sorry to make you get up again, Betsy, but if you and Jim could come and stand in the center as the lead gift of our founding donors. So Betsy Davies and Jim Harper, our lead gift.
Cynthia Claus, come on up, please.
And Alan Ziesman has something for each person, and there's Alan. Bill Dulcimer and Janet Freed. No applause, or we'll be here until 2 o'clock. Diane Daly and Bob Dupay. I'm sorry, I stepped on your name. Okay, you take my name.
Ann Geyer. And the next one is my good neighbor, Eleanor Goodwin. She's on Zoom. So
Rosemary Harmon
another,
and her husband, Alfred.
another good neighbor, Mary Morell and Douglas Zachary. They're also on Zoom. They're in the United States.
Phyllis Vinci and Kim Van Capel.
I asked Paula if I could switch with her because I want to announce Tom Rosiello and Malcolm Holiday, and I want to say just a couple words. We talk about the bird with 2 wings. 2 wings just came up. Obviously the minister, but as a member of the care team and a member of the SAC, I have watched Tom work tirelessly for social action, and caring for our people. He is the example of the total UU.
Continuing with Jane Wilkinson.
I have a good neighborhood because my next door neighbor, Don Zealot and Nora Cohen, are also part of the founders.
And I have the honor of introducing founding donors Michael and Kathy Murphy.
And as they say, last but not least, if there is a Energizer bunny in this whole operation, it's called Paula Peace, and with obviously the support of her husband, Michael Moore.
All right, let's one more time applause for all of these founding donors.
One last thing. I've got my envelope filled out to put in the box today. You can also do that, or you can wait till next week if you have to, but let's do it today. Thanks.
Thank you all. You can take your seats. Thank you very much for making this transition as smooth as satin. We haven't missed one call for support from our NGOs during this transition time of setting up. We're very proud of that, and we were very determined to make that true. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce to you the foundation governors, the members of the 5-member governance committee of the foundation. First, we governors want to thank Kim Van Capel. So Kim, don't go too far away. Why don't you wave from the back? Kim Van Capel, he partnered with us during the last months, and he has since become an extremely busy co-treasurer of our fellowship. So Kim needs to leave the foundation so he can focus his time on that important work. We'll let you go reluctantly, but thank you for your service in helping us set up the foundation. And I'd like to call forward the other members of the Foundation Governance Committee, after which Tom will offer a charge. Rosemary Harmon, our secretary. Jane Wilkinson, our treasurer. Don Zealot, our NGO liaison. And I'm Paula Peace, and I serve as chair.
Thank you all for being willing to serve. As you witnessed last week when we welcomed new members, it is customary for the minister to give a charge to those individuals who are embarking on a new journey in our congregation. And you, as the first governors of the Social Justice Foundation, are certainly embarking on a new journey. An extraordinary opportunity rests with you. It's really no exaggeration to say you are now the front line for Unitarian Universalist social justice work in Mexico. The potential for this foundation is enormous. You're all extraordinary gifted people and the right people for this job. And you'll be the ones who chart the course ahead. And to that end, I want to give you this charge. First, do not try to do the work alone. There's too much to be done. And there's so many ways that you will need help. Do not be overwhelmed. Move one step at a time, one task at a time. You can't do it all at once, but most importantly, develop a network of helpers here within the congregation. Recruit and rely on them. Second, be open to new ideas, to new ways, and to people who have knowledge to share with you. Learn from those who have done similar work. Also remember, we are part of an association of more than 1,000 congregations, and we have a wonderful denominational staff. Take advantage of these resources. Also, especially be open to learn from those whom you endeavor to serve. Find ways of deeper communication and dialogue with them. Do not approach them with a preset agenda or unrealistic expectations. Allow them to tell you how you can empower and help them in the work that needs to be done. Remember, you'll be doing the work of all of us in this fellowship, in the UU congregations in the US and Canada that choose to partner with us in doing this work. Be good communicators, open to questions, welcoming suggestions, and most importantly, sharing the progress you make. Fourth, you are charged with building a new way and a better way for this congregation to do the work of justice in the community. You'll need to bring the congregation along with you in understanding this, and there will be distractions. Chart a course and stay with it. Good process is essential to the success of a foundation like this. Fifth, and above all else, you all are called to partner, called to create a special kind of relationship where there's mutual respect and shared vision. And that's essential. You are uniquely positioned to partner in two directions, with the local community organizations doing the work and the UU congregations and financial supporters who can participate in putting our UU faith into action here in Mexico, but aren't here with us. This is the crux of your work. It's so much more than just asking for and giving out money. It's about relationship building. It will involve letting go of biases, of prejudices, even certain cultural norms, perhaps. We're working as guests in this community, and that requires a unique understanding and respect. And finally, don't lose sight of the fact that your work is a spiritual discipline. It comes out of a faith community with deeply held values and principles. Your work is your faith in action. Our faith in action. Do not get caught up in just the numbers or the nitty-gritty. Never lose sight of the fact that the work you do is really food for the soul. Go to that deeper place often and hold the importance of your work in your heart and the realization that this practicing your faith and helping others to put theirs into practice is important. It's not just doing helpful things. Your work is an expression and an exercise of our Unitarian Universalist faith. And enjoy your work. It will require lots of you, but I cannot think of anything with greater potential to be rewarding and to bless your lives. And now I invite you, I hope Paula's got, I invite you to join in the affirmation of the governors. Maybe Paula, you can.
We, the first governors of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Miguel Social Justice Foundation, accept the responsibility and trust placed in us by this congregation. We pledge to use our best and most creative efforts to build and deepen relationships with our neighbors in need. We pledge to raise funds and to distribute those funds to carefully vetted organizations and programs that serve the poor and advance justice in our greater community. We pledge to keep you informed of our work, and we welcome and encourage your support and assistance in helping us continue and expand the important work of justice to which this fellowship has been committed since its founding.
I now invite all of you to join in the congregational response to the governors as printed in your order of service. And let's just wait a moment. There it is. Okay. We, the members of this Unitarian, have pledged to support the Unitarian Universalist Foundation of San Miguel de Allende Social Justice Foundation. not only with financial contributions, but with our time, talent, and our network of connections to congregations, individuals, and grant-giving agencies who may wish to partner with us in this work. We also pledge our trust and support to you, the governors, as we move forward together as a beloved community devoted to the work of justice. Thank you all, and I invite you to join in a hymn of celebration. You can move, you can clap. We'll let Paula get to the piano, give Malcolm this microphone. It's printed on your order surface. It'll appear on the screen. Please rise as you're able, and we'll, in a moment, join in singing.
Watch out, Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Congratulations. I'm honored to be here today to help you celebrate the bold vision and the fire of commitment that have brought your new Social Justice Foundation into being. In one of his sermons, 19th century Boston Unitarian Theodore Parker wrote, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends toward justice." The idea was picked up by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said in a 1968 sermon at Washington National Cathedral, "We shall overcome, because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." The saying has caught the popular imagination and is now widely quoted. Both the Veatch Program that I used to work for and your new Social Justice Foundation affirm this truth and seek to do what we can to help bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. So today we launch your new foundation and renew our resolve to keep the fire of commitment for wider justice burning brightly. So I brought together today a couple of props, because in fact, what we're going to be doing is sort of christening the boat. We will be laying a green branch on the deck for good luck to keep during the maiden voyage and guarantee a safe return. We will figuratively break a bottle of champagne over the prow of the new ship, an offering to the gods to protect it, and I will offer a toast. It's apt that we christen this ship. Boats are designed for voyages of discovery and adventures and exploring new frontiers, and your foundation is also designed for discovery and adventures and new frontiers for justice making. The partnerships with grassroots leaders and organizations always involve new discoveries. Through partnership, we learn to look at the world through other people's eyes. We discover the power of humility, the power of letting your partners lead. We learn the discipline of following. It's something UUs have discovered through the work of the UU Service Committee, on whose board I served for 7 years. Eye to eye, equal partnerships mean listening and learning from our partners, encouraging them to take the lead and telling us what justice looks like from their perspective. It's our job to figure out how to support and advance their vision with financial resources, with money, and with helping hands. A giving program can try to offer help at arm's length by just sending money. But when Brian Stevenson, who is the author of Just Mercies, spoke once at General Assembly, he called us to risk the experience of proximity, to combine financial help with volunteer help. That's how we build strong relationships. And it's those person-to-person relationships that will sustain communities through rough seas and hard times. Building relationships is indeed a great adventure, and your new foundation will help take you there. This foundation has the potential to reanimate and revitalize each one of you and the congregation as a whole. In the years ahead, there will be opportunities to participate in a number of ways, to serve on the governance committee, to serve on other committees, grant vetting, management, fundraising, community action, and others that may be created. We all long to live lives of purpose and meaning. Your new Social Justice Foundation gives you a whole new range of opportunities to engage in important work that will promote justice. And the work of the foundation will take you into seas you never thought you'd explore. Each non-governmental organization, each NGO, focuses on a challenge that people are trying to meet by expanding their knowledge and understanding, and by implementing programs to provide concrete help to make people's lives better. Most NGOs start when someone looks around the world, their community, and sees injustice and asks, what can we do about this? The organizations this congregation supported in 2023 invited you to learn about a whole range of injustices and the ways that partners were confronting them. Illiteracy, insufficient potable water, lack of housing, lack of childcare to enable mothers to work, degrading environment, ensuring access to education, living with autism, hunger, inadequate dental and health care, learning with impaired hearing. And Tom and I had the great pleasure to join Sharon and John Doherty at their Escuela de Educación Especial this week. Extraordinary program. Each of the students introduced themselves to us, taught us a little bit of sign, thank you, and it was an extraordinary experience. In the years ahead, the foundation will allow you to identify injustices that your communities and partners want to address, and Canadian and U.S. congregations will want to help you support as well. Through grants and community volunteer opportunities, you'll be able to expand justice throughout this region, and you'll create opportunities for other UUs throughout Canada and the U.S. to expand their commitments to international justice. So today I bring a green branch, a bottle of champagne, and a blessing to help you launch the UU Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende Social Justice Foundation. Now, the green branch, what does this represent? I think this represents how strongly rooted this foundation will always be in the values and principles of this congregation. Our longstanding 7 principles, bracketed by numbers 1 and 7. The inherent worth and dignity of every person, nodding heads there, we recognize as the first principle. And the 7th, the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. The partnerships that you will forge through the work of the foundation must always affirm these 2 principles and the other 5. Every person's inherent worth and dignity, and the reality that we are interdependent, interconnected members of one human family. And since last year's GA, we can go even further in articulating our shared values. We express love through 6 core values: interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and justice. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. And finally, your own covenant as a congregation that we all said together today. We respect the interdependent web of life and work for a just and peaceful world. We encourage the search for truth and meaning, strive for compassion in our relationships, and seek values that will benefit our lives and the lives of others. This is our covenant. So this green branch represents this constellation of principles and values. May you always seek through the work of the foundation to advance and make real your commitments to interdependence, justice, peace, truth, compassion, equity, pluralism, generosity, transformation, always grounded in love at the center. Because if you ensure that the foundation's efforts are grounded in these principles and values, you will surely stay on course toward realizing a more just world. And what about this bottle of champagne? What might it represent besides something to quench our thirst now that we have been sitting here for a long time listening? Well, I think it's supposed to protect our foundation from what it needs on its voyage. And what are some of the threats that might come between us and success and getting to our destination? The first, I think, would be threats of apathy and indifference. Injustice is hard to witness. Injustice breaks our heart every day. Sometimes it's easier to just look the other way, pretend everything's okay in our part of the world, and what can you do about injustice anyway? May the spirits in this bottle remind us that apathy is the opposite of love. And we're called to live lives of transformational love. We can't afford to be apathetic or indifferent. Second is the threat of compassion fatigue. The journey from injustice to justice is often a very long one. Change takes a long time. And we are creatures who tend to go for instant gratification. May the spirits of this bottle remind us that our commitment to justice is a lifelong commitment for each of us, and that the changes we hope to see through the work of this foundation may require many lifetimes beyond our own. We can't afford to let our compassion flag. Third is the threat of a discouragement and impatience. Justice seldom emerges without frequent setbacks along the way. It's easy to be discouraged, to be tempted to despair of making much headway. May the spirits of this bottle remind us there is strength in numbers and power in community, that can and will sustain us through the ups and downs of this voyage of justice. We can't afford to give in to despair. Fourth is the threat of playing it safe. Every new venture entails risk. The risk of trying something new with the possibility that it will be hard, or we won't be good at it, or we'll make mistakes. Mistakes, my friends, are inevitable, especially in partnerships across boundaries of language and culture. May the spirits of this bottle remind us of the grace and forgiveness that pervades the universe, encouraging us to try new things, sometimes to stumble, to pick one another up, and to carry on. We can't afford to avoid risk. And finally, the fifth threat, the threat of too narrow a vision of what might be possible. The Social Justice Foundation represents a bold vision of what might be possible in the future. And if we expand financial support for our work by enlisting other UU congregations, other generous individuals and foundations, if we expand our own vision of painful injustices we witness in this community that we might help play a role in confronting, then we may indeed have a much greater impact than we think. May the spirits of this bottle remind us that boldness of vision opens up possibilities that might otherwise never be realized. We can't afford to think too small about expanding justice. So let me conclude with a blessing to serve as a sort of toast to the success of this new venture. In a world where injustice causes human suffering in many ways, where children suffer hunger, where persons with disabilities are ignored, where workers are exploited by people motivated by greed, where leaders are indifferent to the threats to our air and water, where children's futures are limited by illiteracy and exploitation, where women and girls are denied opportunity for education and the chance to realize their full potential. In a world where injustice is widespread, may the UU Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende's Social Justice Foundation effectively partner with those living with these injustices to confront and transform them. Provide support in the form of both funding and volunteering, both writing checks and lending a helping hand. Listen and take direction from partners in the work of justice making. Enthusiastically invite other UUs and UU congregations throughout our movement to lend support to these partnerships. Document, celebrate, and spread the word about progress. As UU Service Committee President Mary Catherine Warren wrote in the words of the closing hymn we are about to sing, "From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin." Bless this foundation. Bless this congregation. Bless all the partners who work with us. Bless all those whose generosity makes this work possible. Bless the fire of commitment that stains all this work of justice making. And finally, bless this Unitarian Universalist movement that is committed to help bend the moral arc of the universe toward justice and to usher in a world of peace and equity, a world bound together by mutual respect, compassion, and love. So may it always be. Shalom, blessed be, insha'Allah, aho, shanti, amen. In the spirit of this new foundation, let us join in singing the Fire of Commitment, whose words will be projected on the screen. I invite you, as you're able, to stand.
Spirit.
Thank you to all involved with this service, our talented and cherished production staff, our colleagues on the Sunday Service Committee, our founding donors who invested early in something that didn't yet exist, Betsy Davies, our guiding light in so many ways, my governor colleagues who are so dedicated already and bring together many talents. Reverend Ned Wight coming here to share his phenomenal experience, which is only a lifetime of social justice work. And our Reverend Tom Rosiello, tireless, generous, creative leadership and partner. I am very moved and inspired by you all and this service. I must confess I've really struggled pulling together this offering introduction. I've actually wrestled through multiple rewrites. I think this is the fourth. It just feels too important, and my words seem insufficient. I care too much. Too much is at stake. What is it I really need to say about the Foundation's launch today of the Gifts for Good campaign? You all have copies of the How to Donate sheet, so I don't need to repeat all the options and flexibility you have to give a gift now, or say when you prefer to give later, or if you could send a recurring gift, or maybe you're even thinking about an endowment gift to the Foundation. You don't need me to point you to all the answers on that form. Maybe I should mention that the UUF board has voted to donate today's offering to the Foundation and for the next 2 weeks in February. If you want to make a pledge payment, no problem. Just label your check or envelope, address it to the fellowship, and it'll go exactly there. But all the rest of today's offering will go to the Foundation. That's certainly important, because a little secret is that we already have an NGO waiting for a gift in pesos to pay for their radio communications to serve the children that they address in the Campo. Okay, so that's the business of the day. But what is it I really want to say? On Friday, when we had our Zoom practice and I rehearsed, I confessed to Tom that I was struggling with writing this. He said, just speak from your heart. Just speak from your heart. I'm not sure that's easier, Tom, but I would like to try. Today, I'm really overjoyed to be celebrating the new Foundation, but I also want to acknowledge how my heart was breaking at times during the last 4 years. Many of you know too well what pain I'm referring to, and which you also endured. I am remembering today how close we came as a fellowship to breaking apart. COVID hit us just when we were debating our future, whether we even wanted to grow, whether we should invest in more professional ministry. But we were separated and distanced because of COVID, and it showed in our strained misunderstandings. There was severe disagreement, and with people I had long revered. Why was it bad if our fellowship grew? Why would anyone hesitate to invest in becoming a more multicultural fellowship? Why couldn't we invest in ministry and social action at the same time? It was a tough time for us to be separated and to have to try to work through such important future planning when we couldn't see each other's faces in person, when we couldn't exchange hugs, even while disagreeing. Finally, a new option came. As soon as I heard about the possibility of starting a social justice foundation, I felt it could be the answer. As an outspoken advocate for ministry and Sunday services, I was, to my surprise, appointed to the foundation planning team. What? But soon I began to believe that developing a new foundation, separate from the fellowship, but also connected as a wing, I began to believe that that win-win formula could save our fellowship. My 4 decades in Atlanta directing and raising money for a nonprofit performing arts group gave me some ideas I was willing to explore. Why couldn't the new foundation expand its funding sources? Why couldn't the new foundation partner with U.S. and Canadian UU congregations to fight injustice here in Mexico? Who else could do it if not us, right here? Why couldn't we actually give more to NGOs than ever before? Why couldn't we try? I'm sincerely proud today to wear this yellow name tag as a governor of the new Social Justice Foundation. The morale within the governance committee is superb. We have a real can-do spirit and passionate commitment, and we are eager to share with you about what we've already accomplished and all the big dreams we have. I have in recent days visited only 2 of the 11 NGOs which we've been supporting. Wow. Observing and meeting the young people we've been serving, meeting the dedicated staff and hearing their passion and commitment, seeing the villages and conditions in the campo, and the love. It is already a remarkably rewarding experience, and I've just begun to meet the visionaries who guide the NGOs. I want to invite you today to join our rewarding work. Please give generously to the Gifts for Good campaign. Where's that envelope? Gifts for Good campaign. Pretty simple, pretty accurate. The NGOs are so deserving of our gifts. We can grow our impact for good through our Gifts for Good. How much and how soon? It's really up to us. And think if it feels right to you to volunteer your time or talent. The opportunity to serve is calling us to partner with each other and with the NGOs we serve. We want to build bridges and help heal injustice in surrounding communities. And I believe it will be the beloved community of our own fellowship which will be healed. For we are Unitarian Universalists. Putting our principles into action is our calling, and the rewards go both directions. Come and meet us today at the Foundation info table. It's kind of labeled over there. We want to hear your ideas. We need your hands and your hearts. Let's build our foundation. Let's heal our fellowship, both and. This is our formula for success. Only when the 2 wings of fellowship and foundation work together can we take flight to do important work. Let's spread our wings and do this together. May it be so. The offering will now be collected and most gratefully received. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us today, either in person or on Zoom, and we hope you'll return next week when our guest minister will be the Reverend Andrea Abbott. Please stay on for conversation and community after the service on Zoom, or join us over here for cookies and coffee. And Ned, of course, thank you so much for being with us today, for your wise words and counsel, and now your words of benediction.
And now may we have faith in life to do wise planting, that your generations to come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality. So may it be.
This flame that we lit at the start of our service, it represents the fire of commitment, a commitment to justice, a commitment to sustaining and growing this beloved community, and a commitment to reach out in love and service to our neighbors. We now extinguish the flame, but not the fire of commitment. That we take with us as our guide as we boldly move into the future together. And may peace be with you till we meet again.